Sydney Swans fans are celebrating after a win for the ages over the Hawks yesterday. Ryan O'Keefe, Norm Smith medalist, John Longmire has his first premiership as a coach. Here's Barrett's again from Lakeside in South Melbourne, where the Swans story began many years ago. Mate, incredible scenes there this morning.
It is unbelievable, Simon. You've come at exactly the right time, because here come the 2012 premiers. The Sydney Swans are on their way to the stadium. Have a look at this lineup of fans. They've been here since 6 o'clock this morning. They are loving this occasion. So many great memories. They have so much to celebrate. Their first premiership since 2005. Simon, many of these people were here. They were part of it in the celebrations in 2005. And now they welcome their players in. Come with me. Let's go and see the players as they make their way to the stadium. Look at these fans. Look at this face, would you? Here's the man who's going to celebrate long and hard. Hey, the blokes. That makeup's been on for a week, by the way. Simon, so many great memories from the game. I mean, Goodsy's performance with a shot knee, effectively. Nick Malcheski, first goal, last goal. But they are going to celebrate here. I reckon there's about 7,000 to 8,000 of them here at the moment. Players are just arriving through there, and the celebrations, my friend, are going to be through the roof. And this is going to be replicated today at the SCG. So the players get on an 11 o'clock flight, they jump off, and they're at the SCG at about 2 o'clock this afternoon. Big day if you're a South supporter. You cannot come here and not be Swan doctrinated.
Very good, mate. I love it. We also probably should mention this other grand final today, and that, of course, if you can still hear me, is the NRL grand final between the Storm and the Doggies. Should be a cracking game. Who's your tip there?
I think you've got to go with the Storm. I think they're just the informed team, Simon. Look, they have a lot to prove. Of course, the salary cap situation they went through has been well documented, but they really want to get it done. So I reckon the Storm, and again, another cracking grand final. If it's as good as yesterday, it'll be great. Coming up, we're going to try the players quickly as they make their way up. Look at the celebrations here. Mike, what a day yesterday. Absolutely sensational. Have you got time to chat to Lewis Rollins Thompson? Thank you. LRT, congratulations, mate. You're live on Sunrise. Have you slept?
I've had about an hour or so I've had a little bit of shut-off.
You don't need too much. Your memories from yesterday are such a great day for you. Some really strong defensive marks that saved goals in a grand final.
Yeah, it's just a wonderful team effort. Across the board, we played exceptionally well. Look, our pressure and contested footy were the things that really stood up.
Great, mate. We'll get out there and enjoy it. There's a young fellow over here with a premiership cup in his hand. I think his name is Swans coach John Longmire. John, congratulations. We're live on Sunrise. Show us your cup, John. Mate, what a great moment. How do you sum this up? Is it what you expected it would be the day after, or so much more?
Oh, I think it's so much more, to be honest, Brett. It's really sunk in now. It's last night was a bit surreal. It's starting to really sink in now.
Just fantastic, mate. When you go back through the thoughts of yesterday, what stands out, or is it all just too many great memories?
I guess the overwhelming feeling and thought is the level of never giving up, and that's the sort of thing that sits me. There's so many small moments in the game when the players just never gave up.
We can't keep you from what's going on up there. You better go up there because they're waiting to see the cup.
Thanks, mate.
We'll follow you up, John. Congratulations. Enjoy the day. Quickly, come for a walk with us. We'll take you up here, take you up to where the Swans are, and this is a great moment. Come upstairs. Have a look at the view here as John Longmire presents the Premiership Cup on the table there. And this is the view. Lewis Cheddar right in front of us. The Norm Smith medalist Ryan O'Keefe. What a great team. What a great day they are going to enjoy here. Guys, a great moment. Quick chat. Mate, congratulations. I know for you this means so much.
Good feeling, mate. It's the night has kept on going the whole way through. It'll probably roll on today, but really looking forward to getting back into Sydney as well and just seeing all the people up there as well.
Is it a special second time around?
I think it's such a relief, the first one. This one, it's just absolutely amazing. I mean, just it hasn't sunk in yet, but I think it's actually probably more special. Really.
And Jude, great memory from yesterday. Is there anything that stands out?
I think Dan Hanbury running back in the flight was just epitomised the courage that guys have, and it's just it's inspiring for old guys like myself.
And Jude, a word on these boys. What makes this group so special?
I think it's just the even contribution. I think everyone's just tips in. I mean, like there's some great standouts here. Ryan O'Keefe's great, that's phenomenal. But just the even contribution. Guys like Mike were just phenomenal yesterday. yesterday, so I'm really happy.
Jude, how many seasons are you going to keep playing, do you reckon?
Oh, we'll see how the old knees hold up, mate. Let the emotion die down, sit down with the coaches and work out next year.
Definitely got one more in you.
I feel good enough to go around again, but whether it's the right time to go or not, I don't know.
No, it's not, mate. When do the risky business sunnies come off? Will that be sometime next week?
No, when the bloodshot eyes dissipate.
Enjoy the day, mate. Get out there. All the best. Congratulations. There you go, guys. A magic moment here with the Swans. You are right there, right in the middle of what's happening.
Fantastic, mate. Really well done. Lovely television there. And well done to Jared and Shiny for bringing us those pictures and that sound too. Sensational.
Grand final game day and grand final specialists Lee Matthews, Tom Harley and Ando down the end. Cheer, cheer, the red and the white. The Swans win the most important 2 hours of the year. We speak to Jude Bolton. We look at the marks of the year, the goals of the year and discuss the season. Let's get it started.
Fish for it. No one's got him, and he's hooked a big one.
Franklin wheels around. Hasn't got the carry. I think so. To Malcheski. Is that the grand final? Sydney are premiers.
They've done it. What a team. Superb. What a goal.
Oh, boy. Kicked a magnificent goal out of it.
It's a miracle team. The biggest goal of his career.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Game Day for the last time in season 2012. And what a grand final we've got to review. So much to talk about. The Swans, they are the premiers after a fabulous season. We've got the mark and goal of the year. Simon Marshall was in. Jude Bolton to talk about his game 301. Is it his last? We'll ask him this morning. Great panel to talk through things as well. And Lee Matthews, it was the grand final we wanted.
Well, the agony and the ecstasy of grand final day was played out. Yes, I thought the Swans earned their ecstasy, but I did think the Hawks blew it.
Okay, more on that later. You've got some numbers that sort of prove it.
Yep, they did. The Hawks will really think this is one that got away, but we'll talk about that as the show goes on.
Okay, next to Lee is a two-time premiership captain, Tommy Harley. A wonderful afternoon's theatre.
Yeah, it was a great game. I think Bruce McAvaney said it was the best grand final he's called, and we love cliches this time of year. I've got one that offence sells membership, 661,000 of them for the Hawks, but defence wins premierships, and the Swans were at their brutal best yesterday. They were great.
The number one defence in the league, and the 32nd grand final for the Journo down the end. Ando, must have been one of the best you've seen.
Yeah, it has to be. It had everything. Probably not necessarily the highlights of some grand finals because it was so brutally contested around the stoppages at all times. But I think there's always been, I guess there's a myth in football, you can't take injured players into grand finals, and these two fellas next to me have been through it. Sydney took injured players in yesterday, definitely Ted Richards, definitely Jude Bolton and Shane Mumford, and they won the game. So just more credit to the Sydney Swans.
Let's have a look at the results from yesterday afternoon. It was one of those games that saw momentum shift all afternoon. Hawks early, then Sydney, then Hawks, and then the Swans late. Just a massive charge to the final siren, and with 34 seconds to go, a game that sealed the win. 10-point winners, and the contrasting emotions on a football field are never more evident than at the final siren on the last Saturday in September. And yesterday afternoon it was seen again. Adam Goods, he dropped to his knees. It was elation versus despair, joy versus misery, ecstasy versus agony.
Yeah, it's an amazing feeling, and having been on both sides of the coin, I've said this often, the emotion that you get when you win a grand final, if you could somehow map that, it doesn't quite match the depth of despair when you lose. And I mean, great scenes here for the Swans, but we'll cut to the Hawks, Lee, and absolutely gut-wrenching to lose a grand final, particularly so close like that.
Well, there were a couple of goals in front halfway through the last quarter. In a way, forget what happened up until halfway through the last quarter, but in the last final 10 or 15 minutes, blowing the 2-goal lead in the last bit of the game is the thing they have to live with. I mean, the Swans were good enough to overcome that deficit and win, but the agony for Hawthorn was extreme.
Lethal, you have been in the coach's box when it is really tight against the Pies in the first of the two grand finals. We're just going to show John Longmire and Alistair Clarkson down in the last final minutes after 23 home and away rounds and 4 weeks of finals. It comes down to moments and inches. And how are you feeling in the box?
Well, it depends the circumstance of the game, of course. I mean, Alistair Clarkson now, I think this is very late in the game. As soon as they got 10 points behind, OK, the game was gone. But up until that point, but they had to roll the dice a bit. They were, what was it? They were 4 points down. And Gibson, who was playing behind the play, Tom, you were talking about on the call, he was hanging back around centre-half back when you think, gee, he might have to roll the dice and push into a vacant half-forward flank or something and hope the ball comes out.
Well, he was on Goods, and Goods he summed up every situation of the game so well, and he said, I'm going to put myself up around the ball and win this game. And Gibson sat about a kick and a half behind. He just had to come up and even sort of drift forward through the corridor, as you say, Lee, and win the game. But those key moments, particularly late, I think the Swans got them.
Well, let's have a look at just the desperation of the fourth quarter. It was just a magnificent final 30 minutes of season 2012, Ando.
Yeah, that's, well, players such as the unsung heroes, I guess you look at here. Nick Smith's one of them.
Alex Johnson.
Alex Johnson just had a great game. Alex Johnson, I think, picked 57 time in the draft. A player that was overlooked for being his boots were too flashy.
Apparently his boots were too flashy.
Which is hard to believe. Sydney's got a lot of those type of players, and I think it's part of the culture. I don't quite understand the Sydney culture. Every club would love to understand it. You can take a player up there. Reece Shaw's a really good example. Who's just reborn, Reece Shaw, and good on him.
Well, let's go back to 03 of Reece Shaw, Lethal. Have a look at this and then have a look at what happened yesterday afternoon. We all remember this is one of the sort of more harrowing images for a player, I think.
9 years ago, and I think you have. I mean, that was just a bad moment for him, of course, in the Collingwood loss. So I think the fact that he's been able to go and regroup, go up to the Swans, and we see in the background there, that's Ben Reid over the back, and Reece Shaw is so the brothers of the two premiership players. So to Reece Shaw to regroup and become a premiership player up at the Swans, I think that's a great thing for him.
And remarkable to have the brothers. I mean, we saw those brothers there, and Jared McVeigh, Mark McVeigh was yesterday in the stands watching on. And a fabulous story from Neil Kearney on Jared and Clementine McVeigh, which we'll show you today. You simply can't miss it, but really emotional.
Yeah, Mark, wrote an article, I think, in Saturday morning's paper about his love for his brother. He's his best mate. They're extremely close. And Mark, I think he played in a losing grand final against the Lions back in 2001. And Jared obviously played in the losing 2006, and now he's a premiership captain. Righto, so much to review this morning. We'll be joined by dual premiership player Jude Bolton. He's going to drop in game 301 for him yesterday. Was it his last? 2012 predictions that went wrong. And Neil Kearney. The story with Clementine McVeigh. It's simply fabulous. Stay with us, the last game day of the year.
So it could be just a player or a team.
Number 24, Jude Bolton.
Chesky left foot, it's a chance, it's a goal! Oh, carried by Hanbury, it's a goal.
This is interesting, it's a main event in any stadium in the world. Bruce needs to kick it now, and he does.
Gunston rolls it home.
Just over, brilliant by the Swans. Reid lines up a goal, it does not get better than that.
Morton has to fish for it, still fishing, and he's hooked a big one. Morton puts it through. It's a good man to have it now, you'd reckon. It's Kennedy.
Hasn't got the carry. I think so.
They'll be in front in a minute. 50 metres out. Less than a minute. Rioli brilliantly done. It'll sit. He'll kick a goal. And they're in front.
And Hales kicked the goal. Slaps it forward. Taken by Hanbury. Able to line up. Hanbury and kick a goal.
This is big. This is really big. It's a dead set. Massive moment. Courts, can he roll it through? He can. Come off the moment. Come off the champion.
To Malcheski. Is that the grand final? Sydney are premiers.
They've done it. What a team. That culture, the blood.
Sensational call of a sensational football match. Bruce McAvaney, Dennis Committee, they've had a wonderful year and a wonderful afternoon yesterday. Let's have a look at the scores one more time from yesterday afternoon. It was the Swans in the end by just 10 points, almost a flattering margin given how close the game was all day. It was an epic, it was an instant classic, it was intense, it was brilliant, lethal, it was simply enthralling.
Was fantastic. And the game just ebbed and flowed so much throughout the game. I mean, at the start of the game, I mean, scoring was hard. That's the first goal from Alice. And then Malcheski kicks one from the boundary line. That was indicative of goals were hard to get. The individual brilliance or individual moments were going to generate the scores. But overall, Hawthorn dominated the first quarter. They had all the ball. They were 19 points in front at quarter time, so they were in complete control of the game. And it just changed. In the second quarter, it was a completely reverse. The critical thing, and this was the story of the game, I thought, the Swans had 6 shots at goal or kicked 6 goals. So they kicked 6 goals straight to Hawthorn's solitary one behind. They completely dried up. So there's 16 points in front at half time, and then the third quarter came top.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the Hawks didn't obviously kick a goal in the second quarter, but then came out again. And I think you got the sense that the Hawthorn cream was starting to rise. And Rioli had a quiet day, but started to get his hands on the footy. Franklin was up and about, and got themselves right into the game. But the game, in my view, ebbed and flowed a lot with the tackling pressure. This looks reminiscent, down albeit the other end of the ground, to the Leo Barry mark a couple of years ago. And Bruce called it, cometh the moment, cometh the man. Adam Goods just put himself in the position, the right position, right at the end here. Clarkson can't do anything about it. Longmire's telling all his players to get back. And then you watch the Malcheski-Birchall. Birchall watches the ball. Malcheski goes to where the ball's going, gets himself free, and that's the match-winning call and match-winning goal. And here's the response. It's just absolutely terrific. There's the coach's box. A great reward for effort. And grand finals, you learn plenty of things, and the 3 things that I learned was, again, targeted recruiting is the key to success. The Swans have played in 14 of 17 final series and picked up a couple of flags. The second thing, from the Hawks' point of view, they must really embrace this low of a grand final defeat. Get kicked in the guts and come back and learn from it for next year. And the third one, the Bloods culture. We hear so much about it. What we saw yesterday was that it transcends another generation of players, and the player we're highlighting here was Alex Johnson. Xavier boy, 1 of 4 who played for the Swans, picked 57 in the draft and just had an outstanding game. He looked really calm and poised. He used the ball well. Defensive pressure was great. And then you've got players like Hanbury and Smith and Bird. The younger generation, Parker's come into it. They just, this culture we talk about at the Swans is something to behold.
To highlight your point on Alex Johnson, I was sitting with a bloke that watches a lot of footy yesterday, and he said, what's 34's name again?
And Smith. Yeah. Johnson, Smith have been terrific players, but they're certainly not household names. They might be today.
Yeah. 3 things you took out of the game, Lethal, yesterday?
Well, the things were more, it's a stats picture that I wanted to take a look at. Now, normally the stats don't lie. If you dominate the clearances like Hawthorn did, particularly the centre clearances, 19-5, therefore you dominate the attack, the ball in attack, you should win the game. But clearly they didn't win the game. Now, why didn't they win the game? You know, the tackling pressure of the Swans was fantastic. So that put the pressure on the Hawthorn disposal. But then the goals win games. The Swans kicked the goals. Unfortunately, Hawthorn kicked a lot of behinds, and the disposal effectiveness shows the pitch. I just thought the composure with the ball under the physical and mental pressure of the game, the Swans had it for more of the game. Hawthorn, that's why I thought the Hawthorn blew it. I thought they just had very little composure going into their forward line and very little composure when they were generating their shots.
Brad Sewell, he's as tough as they come, and he said after the match that, to back up your point, Lethal, we lack polish.
Yep, that was it. And the Swans contributed that unbelievable tackling pressure when you get over 100 tackles. But even when they had time and space, I thought Hawthorn looked rushed. That's what I mean. The composure under the pressure of the occasion was something the Hawks failed at, I thought.
You didn't see Burgoyne sprinting out of the centre too often, did you? Which is what they want to see because his disposal's so good. They're constantly under pressure.
The one thing I loved yesterday, I loved Dangerfield and Jeddah, but we had the official grand final sprint before the match this year, and then the unofficial grand final sprint was played out during the match.
It was absolutely brilliant. We've seen some great runs from Jeddah, and he just has that subtle change of direction. I think we officially now know, Lee, who's the fastest player in the AFL. It's Lewis Jeddah, and those in the Swans say Gary Rowan goes even quicker again, and he obviously missed with a broken ankle. And out of those 2 players, they were seen as the X factors. Lewis Jeddah had a more influential game than Cyril Rioli.
Cyril Rioli is the poor blighter who had to chase him there. Not that Cyril was slow, but as it went on and on, it was obvious he was not going to get anywhere near him. Cyril Rioli yesterday, I actually thought he would win the Norm Smith medal. I was a long way off being right there.
It was different. When he got involved in the game, Hawthorn were good, but he just didn't get involved in the game enough.
And give credit to his 2006 school captain at Scotch College and Nick Smith. Nick Smith
he is so unsung, Nick Smith.
Well, he's not now. One of our members of the audience have walked in this morning with a Swans jumper. What number on the back? Number 40. I couldn't believe that. So, yeah, Nick's
well played, big guy. In fact, you might have to just come out. Just come out here. This is just... We walked in this morning and we had Nick Smith just walk in. It was just a great performance. And you talk about big assignments. So Nick Smith had Cyril, Teddy Richards had Buddy. I mean, he wouldn't have slept for the best part of the week. And I know Buddy had a heap of shots
That's
at goal.
because his ankle was aching.
Absolutely. So he comes in injured plus, can you take Buddy?
And I think he said in the quote post the grand final, I mean, Buddy was really influential. And if the Hawks were to win the game, he was the player most likely to do that. But Ted Richards, ever as honest after the fact, said he lied 100 times during the week that his ankle was fine. It was absolutely killing him.
I love footy when you can have a bloke who looks like an out-of-work surfer, which is Lewis Roberts-Thompson, becoming a jack-of-all-trades. It was vital to that footy side at either end of the ground.
He looks like a Byron Bay backpacker that has just been sort of...
He's Spike off Notting Hill, I reckon. But I mean, he's a great story, and he reads the game really well. He's from the Shaw School in Sydney, one of the big GPS schools. He played rugby. Up in Sydney, a lot of roadblocks for potential players, and he's just a fantastic athlete. Now he's played probably two of his best games in grand finals.
He played rugby union because that's maybe where, seeing that Mike Pike came off the rugby union background, it's maybe union where we should be looking for our players, not league.
I think you're right, Lee.
And Mike Pike is the only person in 100 billion that have been born that has scored a try against the All Blacks and won a premiership medallion. It's rare company.
And he's a Victorian. He's from Victoria in British Columbia, Canada.
Coming up, dual premiership player Jude Bolton. He's not so far away, and there were plenty of tears when Neil Kearney caught up with the McVeigh family yesterday. That soon as well. It's a fabulous show. Stay with us.
1, 2, 3.
Watching that as a non-AFL player, and Kenny Williams, we're not sure how he is this morning. We hope he's okay. Sweet Disposition was the song everyone was talking about, but Cheer, Cheer, the Red and the White was sung beautifully yesterday.
Oh, Reverberate. I love a song with a banjo solo in the middle, which is what Cheer, Cheer, the Red and the White. And I mean, they're a really popular song, and I think club, I should say, credit to Luke Hodge and his defeat.
He spoke
brilliantly well. Said how much he respected the Swans and how much he even liked them as a club.
He looked like he'd written a speech. That was not a good omen, I didn't think. He looked like he knew what he was going to say if we lost.
Yeah, he was excellent after the match. We haven't been excellent in our predictions, though, during the year, it'd be fair to say. Tom, you've got a line?
No accountability in the media. H, and we all get it wrong.
And let's see how wrong most of us got it all year.
Yeah, well, I've got, look, I reckon you could throw a blanket over about 4 or 5 teams, but I've got West Coast. I reckon West Coast have got a fit midfield. My smoky, I reckon, is North. They've got a good young bunch of guys coming through, and the Brownlows got Pendlebury.
Essendon aren't 10th. They're in the 8, and all indicators at this stage are they are a genuine contender, if not the favourite.
I think Carlton's in a bit of trouble. We'll talk more about the Blues later on, but with Mark Murphy out for as long as he is, you just wonder whether they have the running players to do it now, Joe.
And Essendon are a top 4 side.
I think Gary Ablett could win the Brownlow medal on the side that hasn't won a game.
No, I think Carlton will actually come home really strongly in this latter part of the season.
Oldhouse?
What about him?
Is he going to coach again, and will he coach at Carlton?
No, Brett Ratton will keep doing the job.
Ando was right.
Ando, you got a tick. You got a big tick.
One tick. I got a few wrong, eh? And I don't mind admitting that. Anything in particular you'd like to mention?
I remember you and I had a conversation about the Sydney Swans, and I said the Swans can win the flag, and you said...
well, I was, in the words of Arthur Fonzarelli, I was wrong.
Okay.
Sometimes you're very happy to be wrong.
Yeah.
And as Tom said, I think they're the most popular side in the AFL, Sydney. Not quite
Everyone's
sure.
second club almost, aren't they?
I'm sure they are. Yeah.
Marks, they're a fabulous part of our game. There's been some unbelievable marks of the year this year. 3 nominations got to the final. Howe got 8 nominations from 22 rounds. Howe 2 of the last 3. Which did you like most, Lethal?
Well, yeah, certainly. Well, that one is as good as you can get. I mean, but he did that every week. It almost became boring, him jumping on packs. He was amazing, Jeremy Howe. So I thought that one, that for me.
Round 8 wins it from Jeremy Howe. From the 8 nominations, this is the one that the public thought was the best of them. Did you take any big grabs, Tommy?
I was in Heath Grundy's position often, actually.
Not the spot you want to be.
I remember the front page of the Herald Sun one time was Russell Robertson, who was a bit of a Jeremy Howe clone. Harley Rider was the headline. You might have come up with it, Ando. Thanks for that.
Not that clever, unfortunately. So one thing with that home, I think we love high marks and great goals and Lewis Jetta's run as much as anything, but we don't always know who's won the mark of the year. It should be highlighted more than it is. I think at the All-Australian night or something like that.
This only popped up yesterday, did it, the winners?
Yeah, and we didn't. It wasn't a big fuss.
The other thing is, I don't know what the goal kicker of the goal of the year and the mark of the year wins. It used to be a house and land package and an aeroplane and a car. I think now it's like a voucher for Subway or something. It's unbelievable. I'm going to take that up with the powers that be at the AFL, and you run it too, Tommy. The goals of the year, let's have a look at the top three. This was early going.
I'll tell you one way you don't get goal of the year by hand passing to teammates. You've got to hang on to the ball and be really selfish, and you might get goal of the year.
You did that in 80...
I did that one year.
82,
you won a car, actually.
Apparently you had 9 options to handball. You ignored them all. Rory Sloane, he'd run the length of the ground at this point, picked it up again and finishes on the opposite side, which is...
That is a good goal.
His reward is getting that beautiful girlfriend that he took at the Brownlow medals.
It's better than the voucher anyway, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is sort of bread and butter stuff. It was...
He only runs half pace, doesn't he? All he has to do is bounce the ball, because no one...
Poor old Easton Wood.
No one's going to pick him up from behind.
Now let's go to, this is the goal of the year, and it's Chris Yarran. And to put it in perspective, this was the 43rd goal of the season. There were 5,475 kicked after it, none better.
No, that was round one. It was an absolutely cracking goal, and we thought, geez, if that's the standard of football in round one, we're in for a pretty good year. So the season, I should say, was bookended by 2 rippers.
There's a NAB Rising Star awarded. It was Daniel Talia, and Ando, you're still a little upset about that. You didn't really talk about Toby Green much during the year. Let's have a listen.
Canelio, Toby Green. Has any player improved more than Toby Green? Toby Green, who Trent played on yesterday, I don't think he realises he's 18. He's just turned 18. I think he plays like a 25-year-old. But Toby Green's been a ripper. On Toby Green, they're really tough young blokes. I think consistently the best player has been Toby Green. He hasn't played a bad game, Toby Green.
In the North Smith yesterday, Toby Green.
He should have won the Brownlow medal as well. That was wrong there. One thing I love about him, though, is he's so... Here we go.
What is it?
I was just putting that on, actually. But, I love the fact he's so aggressive for a first-year player. That was under Kevin Sheedy. A lot of those players were like that at Greater Western Sydney, and he highlighted that, I think.
Well, let's have a look at what they're saying next year. Tab.com.au have already got a premiership market out, and it's sort of, I don't know, Hawks look pretty short to me. They are right up there at $3.50. I reckon they're longer than that, about round 11 this year. The Eagles and the Swans, I think they won the granny yesterday. They're not even favourites.
It's a rare time the Premier is not the premiership favourite the Sunday after the grand final.
Well, often, the last couple of years, it's the 2 questions you get after winning a premiership is, how do you feel? It feels amazing. And second is, how many are you going to win in a row? Yeah. It's almost with the Swans. They've won this one and we'll just park them aside again. They've only got upside, the Sydney Swans, with their young...
Footy gods, they were there. It was very good. This is Jared McVeigh, Jude Bolton. Bolts will join us. He's en route to the airport. We'll catch up with him. But what a good story. Yesterday afternoon, terrible year for the McVeighs. This was the Fans' Day this morning at Albert Park. What a treat for all of the South Melbourne and Blood supporters.
They really came out, didn't they, the South Melbourne fans? And Jared McVeigh, his acceptance speech of the premiership, did make specific notes, and there was a lot of red at the MCG yesterday.
Yeah, I reckon they left. I mean, Lee played against them at South Melbourne at Lakeside Oval. We thought we were losing a club, the death of a club. They very much embraced it.
Well, it's a great thing when you're the non-Melbourne team, because you've got the base in Melbourne and the base in your home city. This is interesting. I mean, the win-loss ratio of the travelling team's about 33%, about 1 out of 3. But when it gets to the grand final, when you've got a non-Melbourne team playing a Melbourne team, it's 8 out of 10. And you wonder why. I've often thought it's maybe the non-Melbourne team, particularly the Northern States teams, are out of the hype for most of the week, and that helps them to get that emotional equilibrium going into the game.
So does the Melbourne-based team suffer from nerves potentially more?
Well, potentially, because it's just rammed down their throat the whole week, because obviously the coverage is so big. I don't know, it's just one little theory I've had, but it's an amazing statistical fact the non-Melbourne team performs so well so often.
Jude Bolton has arrived at the airport, and it's fabulous to have Jude with us. Jude, I think you can hear us. We haven't done any testing, but well done. Congratulations. What a fabulous afternoon.
Thank you very much, Hayden.
Game 301. There's a magnificent shot of you on the front cover of the Sunday Age today. We've just seen a remarkable story on Jared McVeigh with Clementine and baby Lolita. Tell us, how are you feeling when you're standing there with a teammate like Jared in the Coliseum with a medallion around your neck?
I tell you what, it's no better feeling being on the hallowed turf and having succeeded on the day. It's pretty special, and just for especially Jared, what he's been through the last 24 months has been horrific, and it's just special to see him get a premiership medal.
Jude, you've obviously got such great relationships within the team. I mean, there were 4 of you returning from 2005, but some of the young bloods really stepped up, and the way they celebrated, you can tell that they've really embraced the Sydney culture.
Yeah, I think even just in the first quarter, seeing Dan Hannabury run back with the flight of the ball, it was unbelievable courage and just an unbelievable mark. So it just inspired the hell of a lot of us, and with the young coming through, they're bought in, and we're excited with the group we're working with.
Jude, I'm still trying to get my head around the fact you played in a premiership side with a partially torn ACL. How does that work?
Oh no, it was a bit frayed, obviously, the ACL after the incident against Carlton in round 18. A bit of partial PCL as well, but as we saw with Goodsey, had a completely ruptured PCL. He played through it. He's phenomenal.
And Jude, we thought your individual role yesterday, I mean, everyone plays their role, was mainly to stop Birchall being an attacking force off halfback. That plan going in?
Yeah, my role obviously changed throughout the day a little bit, but probably to look after those dangerous halfbacks a little bit, and obviously did get a hell of a lot of the ball, but I thought had tried to just lay some tackles and provide a bit of lead out forward.
Jude, a couple of the players had almost career games. One we've marvelled about was Mike Pike. Did you envisage such a strong contribution?
Mate, his performance on the big stage is just something to be heralded. I mean, he's Canadian. He's flown all around the world, and he's now a premiership player. It's a phenomenal story.
We're actually just about to watch his try against the All Blacks. We said this morning, Jude, there's 100 billion people that have been born on the planet. Only one has scored a try against the All Blacks and played in a premiership in the AFL.
It's unbelievable to think that he's done it. I mean, we sat there and just marvelled at him last night, just thinking, God, this is something no one else has ever done.
Jude, you just mentioned Adam Goods then with what he went through. He's your captain. I think right now he's one of the greatest red and white players in history. He really belongs with any one of them, Bob Skilton included.
Oh, mate, he's dual Brownlow medalist, dual premiership player. I love him to death, and pretty glad I've joined 300 games, I guess, with him as well. It's just something that I'll always cherish.
Jude, he's always been a Swan, but the club is just so environmentally friendly. So many recycled players. Mitch Morton discarded by the Eagles, discarded by the Tigers in the wilderness. 2 goals yesterday at a critical time. He was unbelievable.
Yeah, he has that little bit of a Stevie J sort of X factor about him. He just, I think, for Mitch especially, he just sort of bought in over the year. He was one of those guys that probably didn't fit in our culture originally, but once he bought in, he's become a valuable commodity for our team.
Jude, I know you've got to get a flight. Last question. Kirk's going to Fremantle. Are you going to play on, or would you like a seat here every Sunday morning? There's one for you.
Oh, if you've got one for me, it'd be pretty good. Don't worry about that, mate.
All right, locked in. We'll finish with a premiership. When will you make the decision as to whether you'll play on?
I'll sit down once the emotion goes out of it home and work it out with the club. I've actually still got the fire burning in my belly to play on. You get a bit greedy when we go through these feelings like this. You want to keep it going, but we'll make that assessment once we assess from there on.
We'll put a reserve sign on the seat for you. Have a fabulous month, and hopefully we'll see you playing next year.
Well, hopefully my voice is a little bit better then too.
Great to have you on board. Just a wonderful warrior for the Swans, isn't he? Just absolutely outstanding. We're just going to go to the top 3 plays of the grand final. Malcheski started and finished with 2 remarkable goals. Have a look at the top 3 plays from yesterday afternoon.
So industrious, trying to get the ball out. Malcheski, a left footer, can he get the hook? It's pretty good. It's a chance. It's a goal. It was very, very good.
Mayfield
football not caught by Savage. Canterbury to Malcheski. Is that the grand final? Sydney are premiers.
Welcome back to the final game day of season 2012. Wonderful to have Jude Bolton on this morning. We're wrapping things up, and as we do, we're just talking about Mad Monday and Wacky Wednesday. And Geelong have taken the cake on the big Saturday 3 of the last 6 years now. And this is Wednesday last week. Matty Scarlett was Michael Jackson. He, after his final game, he sort of, Tommy, made Wacky Wednesday what it is.
Yeah, he started, I think, with Kevin Bartlett lookalike, and then
bottom
he just
right,
got better
Gary
and better.
Lyon. That's Joel Selwood being carted into...
with his brother Troy Selwood, who obviously got Stephanie Rice and Kobe Bryant, and Captain America, the Avengers, it might be the top. I'm like, Toby Green.
Toby Green.
You went as Toby Green, did you, Ando?
I liked actually Paul Chapman as Alex Perry. I thought that was...
Yeah, with the glasses on his head.
Yeah,
and Chappie shaved his hair for it as well, which is very good of him. Now, Lethal, we've had a letter sitting on our desk for a long time. This is the Pracey version of it, because we've got very short for time. It is from Barney McCusker. He says he's been analysing the statues outside of the MCG for 2.5 years. All of the other statues have birds come and land on them and desecrate the statue, except yours. Every bird is terrified of you or has so much respect they refuse to do any droppings on your shoulders.
I think it's a bit of both.
Scared plus respectful.
Seagulls, they're nice creatures. They're very respectful birds.
Now, Tommy, you love your American sport. I'm going to take you to a Braves versus Rockies game in the Baseball League. Have a look at this.
Mississippi yesterday, Atlanta today, Rome, and then Lynchburg. Oh, sorry, Tom.
Talking to me?
We're back on.
We all do a little bit of stuff, eating, drinking in the commentary box, but you'd be stiff to get caught with a burger in your mouth, wouldn't you?
You would be, and apologise for my acting. That was terrible.
You're a footballer.
Because the baseball goes for about 4 hours. You'd starve to death if you didn't eat chicken.
Exactly. It goes for 6 days and it's nil all at the bottom of the ninth. Bathurst, it's coming up on Channel 7. Then we've got the spring racing. Hope you can continue to watch us. And we roll into the tennis as well. So the sport continues on 7. It's just the station to be on. I just want to say thank you to all the team upstairs. It's just a massive production to get round 1 through to the grand final done. And so to all of the team at 7 that back us. And to be honest, the on-air role is the easiest by some margin. So to the team upstairs, downstairs, and all into production trucks, behind the cameras, lighting, etc. Thank you. Lethal, wonderful to have your company. Tommy, great year.
Thanks,
Ando, go and see Toby Green. Thank you very much to everyone, and particularly to the viewers at home. We hope you enjoy game days. We'll see you next year. An absolute privilege to bring it to you. Here's the best of 2012.
If you had to choose between Crossy and your wife Kate, who would it be?
You can't do that to me, Jack.
But is it also true that you were mistaken for Woogie from Something About Mary? I think we got some footage.
I knew this was coming.
I understand you're a very fit man back then.
Well, that's me. Oh, you can't believe I didn't wear those shorts.
Everyone did.
Got to be painted on. Surely I didn't. Did I wear those? I couldn't have possibly.
Well, she did ask me if I hated God at that stage, and
what you say?
I don't really know how to respond to that other than say, oh yeah, he's my favourite player. But,
Did you send a wooden spoon to Woosha when the Eagles got the wooden spoon 2 years ago?
No, I gave it to him. We know you're a very intense character. What do you do to relax?
The kids and I talk footy.
One word. Who's a better player, Jack Riewoldt or Nick Riewoldt? One word.
Both.